So the Olmecs. The Olmecs are considered one of the first civilizations in Mesoamerica. Right, we're talking about the area of modern-day Mexico and Central America. The Olmecs, their homeland is around the area of the modern-day state of Veracruz and Tabasco in Mexico. But at this time, this is the territory of the Olmecs, and so this is where you start to see a civilization forming. Okay, you have the specialization of labor taking place amongst the Olmecs, where certain individuals will specialize in certain jobs, certain occupations. Right. So before you may have everyone being a hunter and a gatherer, right, during the hunter-gatherer period. Well, now you have people that have more well-defined jobs. You may have individuals who are priests, and that's all they are. They don't do no hunting and no gathering. Their food is going to be provided for them. They're not even going to be doing farming. You know, their food will be provided for them, but their job is to be a priest. Okay. Then you have political rulers during this time. This is a chiefdom. The Olmecs are a chiefdom, and so you're going to have a chief for various Olmec villages. Right. We're not saying this is an empire. There's not one chief who is chief of all the Olmec villages. No, there's a number of different Olmec villages during this time, and each will have their own chief. And there are some cases where there's a chief who will be the political leader of several different Olmec villages. Okay, and so this is what we have. We have villages. We also have ceremonial centers that the Olmecs build. And so here's where you see some of that specialization of labor taking place. You'll have some individuals who will specialize in working with stone, and they will build palaces for these chiefs, right? Their chiefs will live in a palace. There will be quarters for the priests where they will live. There'll be temples which are built out of stone on top of earthen mounds. An earthen mound, which basically we're talking about a large mound platform that was made of earth and earthwork, and there would be a temple built on top of that, right? And so we have some ceremonial centers that are being constructed, which are being built by the Olmec people, right? And so this is related to the specialization of labor, where you have individuals doing specialized jobs. Not everybody is doing the same jobs, and so this is going to lead to more social stratification. Some of the major Olmec sites we'll talk about briefly. Let's take a look at a map so we can get an idea of where these are. We have San Lorenzo right here. This is one of the earlier of the major Olmec sites. Had a population of roughly around 2,500 people. Okay, here you will find large constructions, the earthen mounds. You'll find some large buildings, palaces, also stone sculptures as well. La Venta over here, this is another one of the major sites of the Olmec. It rose a little bit after the downfall or the decline of San Lorenzo. So La Venta, another one of the major Olmec centers. You have about 18,000 people living there. You also have Tres Zapotes later on. This is another one of the major Olmec centers as well. Okay, and so this whole area right here is colored in orange, orangish color, peachish color. This is the main homeland of the Olmecs. Okay, so this is where you have their sites, and they are in communication with other civilizations who existed at this time as well during the formative pre-classic time period. Okay, here's Monte Alban. We'll talk a little bit more about that civilization a little bit later. Okay, and over here is where you find the Mayan groups who are around during this time. You may notice these lines coming from the Olmec Center. These are trade lines or trade routes. Basically, it's illustrating that the Olmecs did have trade communication with these other civilizations in Mesoamerica, and they dominated trade, and they were very influential. The culture of the Olmecs was very influential during this time, and we'll take a look at examples of that influence in just a minute. Okay, so those are some of the major sites of the Olmecs. As I mentioned earlier, we have specialization of labor taking place amongst the Olmecs. This is a chiefdom. Starting to see political organization. We're seeing construction being done in stone of these ceremonial centers. And so you're going to have social stratification, meaning that we have upper classes and lower classes, various different strata or levels of society, right? And so at the top of this social stratification, you have your ruler, okay, your chief. He may rule over one particular village or ceremonial center, or maybe a number of different villages. Okay, below the chief, you will have the priestly class, who are also very influential and powerful in Olmec society. Okay, beneath the priestly class, you're going to have the commoners. And the commoners are responsible for a number of different things. Commoners will be the ones who are actually doing the labor of construction when they're constructing the ceremonial centers, like La Venta. But you also have commoners responsible for agriculture. They're going to be feeding the priestly class. They're going to be feeding the political rulers. Okay, so they're going to be involved in agriculture as well, the commoners. And so this is a rough social stratification. It's not hugely defined, and this social stratification develops even more so and increases over time as we get closer and closer towards the Classic period. During the beginning of the formative pre-Classic and early Olmec civilizations, their social stratification was not so well defined. In fact, it was more egalitarian, meaning that people were more equal. And their roles became more and more defined over time, over many, many years. Okay, and it became more and more stratified into different levels with an upper and lower class over time, something that happened over time. Okay, the trade network I mentioned earlier when we were looking at the map. The trade network is basically showing that the Olmec civilization was not isolated. Okay, they were communicating with the Maya. They were communicating with central Mexico, Monte Alban. And so you have the Olmec communicating, trading with other civilizations, and through this trade, they're also spreading their culture. And their culture is going to be very influential amongst the other peoples in Mesoamerica. Okay, so maybe you've heard of the Aztec calendar, you've seen pictures, the Mayan calendar. It's a very similar calendar, right? Well, this same calendar was used by the Olmecs, and some believe that it was originated by the Olmecs, right? The Olmecs created this calendar, and this information was passed on to other civilizations in Mesoamerica, like the Mayans and later on the Aztecs. That possibly could be true, but there's other civilizations that were using it around the same time as the Olmecs. It's possible that maybe another civilization came up with it. Maybe it goes back before even the Olmecs, but they're the first to start creating stone sculptures based around it, so that we could see evidence of it today. But one way or another, it seems that the Olmecs were one of the first civilizations to use this calendar, and this calendar has a number of different components. There's several different calendars, basically. One that we'll talk about, the ritual calendar. The ritual calendar was a calendar of 260 days, so it wasn't meant to be like our solar calendar that we're using right now, 365 days. They had one of those too, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But the ritual calendar is a little bit different. It's close to about 9 months, and so some believe that maybe this is a connection with the period of human gestation, right? The birth cycle of 9 months. Maybe that's the correlation with this 260-day calendar. That hasn't been proven, still a theory. But one way or the other, this was a 260-day calendar. As I said, it was a ritual calendar, so this calendar is related to ceremonial purposes. It's also sort of a fortune-telling device for everyday life. Okay, so in this calendar, you have 13-day numbers. Okay, so the numbers 1 through 13 for the numbers of the days, and you also have day names, right? We have day names, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's the name of the day. Well, they had names as well. I think they had 20 of them. Okay, so there's 20 different day names. So each day in the 260-day calendar would have a day number and a day name. Okay, so for example, the day would be 1 Emix, IMIX. It's one of the day names, and so that's one day name and day number. Right? And so every day had a number and every day had a name. And so it moves in a cycle. So if there's 13 numbers, it goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and each one having a corresponding name going along with it. And then once it reaches 13, it starts over again, 1. But the names, the day names, since there's 20 of them, they don't start over again. They go on until they reach 20, and then they start over again as well. So you see how those 13 and 20, those two sets of numbers, they lead to this pattern of repeating cycles, right? A repeating cycle of 13 numbers and 20 names, if that makes sense. Okay, it's a little complicated, but basically all you need to know is that this cycle repeated for 260 days. And so that's the ritual calendar, and it was used to tell the fortune of that particular day. You see what I'm saying? Fortune telling, divination. Basically, each day had specific omens that were related to it. So maybe today would be a good day to travel. Maybe today would be a good day to have a ceremony for naming a child. Maybe today would be a bad day for naming a child or traveling or, etc. So each day has certain characteristics to it. Okay, based on its number and its day name and where it falls in this 260-day cycle.